Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for another Faithful Friday. What a time to be alive and well, and here to jump on and join you on this beautiful Friday. If you're in the Midwest, the weather is mild and quite enjoyable for this time of the year. Hopefully, you guys all had a great week. You were able to get some things done this week and that you're ready for an awesome disconnect. This week for me was just all about being prepared because life and those things expected out of you and from you can change in a moment's notice. Remember, the goal is to grow in maturity and wisdom and endurance so that you're able to handle whatever the race of faith tosses your way. It's important to prepare today when the pressures are light, so we'll be able to face the toughest legs of the race with grace and courage. One of the nuggets that stuck with me this week, and I made sure that I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget it, is that, overcomers are born. They're not born. They're developed over time. They're not born. They're developed over time. That means it happens by the tests that we go through, because we're going to go through some tests in this life. And, over time, we get stronger and stronger. Don't you know that sometimes we have to humbly ask for help? In an age where self-sufficiency is celebrated rather than being seen as a source of pride, many struggle in even asking for help. However, it's your ability to humble yourself and realize that you don't know everything and that you may not have all the resources is when, you can get what you need. For me this week, I was making sure that I was commanding my morning. No matter what was going on, I was making sure that I was staying in my word. The next thing I had came up against was just getting to the root of the problem. And sometimes that can be hard because all problems have a root. They really do. I know while diving into a book that I've been reading, Authentically, Uniquely You, it spoke about surviving rejection. And you can survive rejection. And why? Because everyone's not going to like you anyway. Not everyone's going to think you're wonderful in order for you to have a great life. It's okay. 10% of most people won't like us no matter what we do or who we are. So why focus on the few that don't when you got like 90% that do? This is where prayer comes in. Prayer has the ability to refine us. Prayer is where we can be pruned of our habits, our thought processes, our desires, and our ambitions, and even including wanting people to like us, as I like to call it, people pleasing, all of which can hinder what God has for us. That's why each week I end the week with talking about transparency and reiterating that our transparency will lead to others being transformed. The enemy does not want you to share your testimony. He knows that your testimony is powerful. And when you're guided to share it, he wants to derail and discourage you from sharing it. Because each time you're led to share your story, you are in the process of being healed. It does something for you to share your story. So never let him derail or discourage you like that. I know for me this week, I ended the week just learning to yield. And it's hard to yield sometimes, y'all, because, it's just hard. Yielding is what I'm supposed to be doing in this season. And I know like all year long, I've been guided with different things that I'm supposed to be doing, things that I'm supposed to be working on. 2024 has really required that I stand up for myself. This year, I had to give myself some hard no's and some slow yeses because doing anything without praying in this season for me has been critical. It's been critical for my growth. It's been critical for my stretch. It's been critical for my brand, my time, and my healing. I fought so many years just giving out quick yeses, and I found myself exhausted trying to please everybody. And I can't lie. Did some of the no's that I had to give cost me? Absolutely, it did. But I'm confident that God will make it up. He really will. See, when we yield to what God is telling us to do, he will make ways with the impossible. I just seen it this week. He will give us grace. And in grace, in regards to grace, grace is, God's favor coming to us freely, even when we don't deserve it. I say that all the time. I know that I don't deserve the grace that I get, but that's because God is good. He does it anyway. Grace is also God's power coming to us to enable us to do with ease what we could never do on our own without some amount of struggle or having to put in some effort. It's just deep, y'all. You can't be giving God a yes and having to give a no sometimes in things that, you would love to give a yes to. God will give us grace in circumstances we couldn't even imagine. This week, no matter where I turned, all I kept hearing, it didn't matter if I was on YouTube, if I was watching TV, if I was watching talk shows, it didn't matter. No matter where I turned, I kept hearing about the effects of people pleasing. And I'm like, what is it, Lord, that you want me to get from this? I know that there was moments that I was supposed to just stop and think, was I guilty of this? Because sometimes we think we done overcame something that we have not. Because it just kept coming up over and over again. And it's something that I have struggled with throughout the years without really realizing it. For many years, I didn't realize it. I thought I was just being there for everybody. I thought it was normal, and many of us still do. The nugget that I was able to capture, now again, I made sure that I made note of this nugget as well, is when the temptation to please people instead of God comes to us, we are to resist it with the strength of God and not with willpower alone. You don't have enough power to resist. Ask God to fill you with His strength. Ask Him to flood your mind with His thoughts and to give you His desires to replace with wild emotions, because sometimes our mind wants to do what our mind wants to do. Then and only then can you have a soul that is under control instead of a soul that's in control. Listen, y'all, it's time to disconnect. We got to start considering how we spend our time and our energy. There are things that we can do to maximize our effectiveness. For me, that is reading. For me, that is resting. For me, that is relaxing, sometimes taking a nap, just disconnecting, watching TV. Why? Because it's vital for our well-being. We got to disconnect sometime. It's going to require some planning to get there, because sometimes we feel like we always got to be busy. We always got to be doing something. We always got something we're supposed to be showing up for. But just strategize and try. Keep going. Why? Because you got this. If you're looking for the guys this weekend, check out our page, Guys Cooking Creation. But tomorrow we will be at Garfield Park Farmers Market, 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And I will post where we will be on Sunday, because we'll be back to tailgating. You know the drill. If you're out and about, make sure that you're letting your light shine. Why? Because your transparency is leading to so many others being transformed. Don't you let the enemy lie to you about sharing your story. There's going to be some people He's going to put in your life, and God is going to want you to share your story. You sharing your story is going to transform their life. You know the drill. This has been your girl 7. I wanted to keep it short and sweet this week. I will see you all next week. Thank you.